career best 50 points in a loss against the Kings today. The two-time All-Star is currently second in the West in front court voting, only behind the one LeBron James. And now we welcome in our NBA Countdown All-Star, Adrian Wojnarowski, to talk about another All-Star in Kevin Durant. Obviously, he was all over the news yesterday in the game against the Raptors, held out early due to health and safety protocols, entered during the first quarter, and then back out again during the third quarter. And now we're hearing we might not see him for a week. What is the latest on your reporting there? Yeah,
our Malika Andrews reports that he'll be in quarantine for 7 days, so he's going to miss the next 3 games, including the Nets game tonight with Philadelphia. He'll miss games against the Pistons and the Pacers, and then likely return next Saturday, a week from today, against his old team, the Golden State Warriors. And, you know, her reporting was that the league and the Nets, that they had reason to believe he had gone back and forth to the arena yesterday without a mask in a car with a team employee who tested positive for the virus. So he goes back into contact tracing now for a week. Remember, he missed a week in early January. And listen, and certainly he was not happy last night. I'm told the league is not going to fine him because of the tweets during and after the game, his frustration. But you see frustration, him and James Harden after the game. You're starting to see an escalation and some frustration all around the league. This has been a difficult season to navigate. Last night was a very difficult scenario for the Nets, who lost to the Raptors amid all of that chaos.
Sure, yeah, we saw KD tweeting out, free me. And we've also seen a lot of stars talking about how they feel about All-Star game. We saw LeBron James. He said he has zero energy, zero excitement going into a potential All-Star game. And I think yesterday was a microcosm of what we're seeing about uncertainty and maybe a little bit of a buildup. What's the latest there, and how are those relationships being held together during a time like this?
Yeah, the league's moving forward with the All-Star game, and they've been negotiating with the Players Association for weeks, and they've been back channeling to players, and they knew that it was exactly that. There wasn't great enthusiasm for it, but they're going to move forward and play it. I think players are still going to be expected to play. There's a rule in place. There's a significant fine for not playing. There's no expectation that that's going to change. But I think there's a feeling out in the league with, you talk to team executives, coaches, and of course players, that there is a mounting frustration to how difficult this season has been, how mentally taxing it's been to exist within these protocols. But the interesting part of this 5-day break in the All-Star game, the 24 players who will go and play in Atlanta, they're essentially giving the rest of the league a little bit more of a break than they might have had, because without an All-Star game, the league could have continued through, used that to make up some of the games that they have 24 games that they've had to postpone and reset for the second half of the season. And so in that sense, they might have been having to play right through this without an All-Star game.
Yeah, there's 24 games that still need to get played, but you're right, maybe the All-Stars will be taking one for the team. That game could be played on March 7th in Atlanta, and obviously Woj is going to stick around. He'll continue reporting, but he's going to stay here on NBA Countdown.
Welcome to NBA Countdown.
Well, happy Saturday night. I'm Maria Taylor, and welcome to NBA Countdown, coming to you live from the Seaport District of New York City, brought to you by Heineken. We've got Jalen Rose and Paul Pierce joining us live alongside Adrian Wojnarowski, and he'll have the latest on NBA All-Star as well as Kevin Durant. But first, let's start with who's playing with confidence, and that's presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. The Warriors are, and they're playing tonight. They rolled to a 31-point victory on Thursday against the Mavs, so they have to be feeling good. It was their 30th 30-point win since Steve Kerr became the head coach in 2014-15. That's 8 more than any other team over that span. And Kelly Oubre is feeling great. Finally had a performance the Warriors were expecting from him. He scored a career-high 40 points after coming into the game averaging just 12 on the season. And Steph added in 28 points, including 4 3-pointers in the blowout win. Curry has made at least 4 3-pointers in 9 straight games, which is tied for the second longest streak of his career. Now let's welcome in the NBA Countdown family. Jalen Rose, he's in Detroit. We got Paul Pierce, he's in LA, so we're covered coast to coast. And Paul, I want to start with you because you actually played against Steph Curry. Yeah. During warm-ups, they caught him hitting 5 threes from the logo. I mean, he seems like he's unguardable, but what is it like to actually play defense against a guy, especially when he gets really hot from 3?
Oh, man, you talk about one of the greatest shooters, but the thing about him, how well he moved without the ball. It's like he could do it off the dribble, and guys that come to mind for me is like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen. Those guys were the hardest guys to guard, and you just wish they just stopped moving so much. It's crazy when you think about it. Think about the greatest shooters that ever played. When you say Reggie, Ray, you got to throw Steph in there, and Klay Thompson. They all move well without the ball. Those are the most difficult guys to guard, especially with the range that they have.
Okay, Uncle P, we did do a little research, and Steph shot 58% against you. Now that's after you were with the Celtics.
That don't count.
I mean, I knew you were going to say it doesn't count.
No, when I was with the Clippers, that don't count. I was 37 years old. Give me a break. I could.
Okay, We'll give you a break. We'll roll over to Jalen. And I guess what you've noticed about the Warriors so far and how they've been led by Steph Curry coming off of such a big win against the Mavs on Thursday.
I appreciate for Steph Curry that he wanted to establish himself as one of the elite top players in the game again. He's dealt with some injuries. The Golden State Warriors aren't the favorites. However, playing high volume and seeing if he was going to put up the kind of big numbers that you see from the other top guards around the game. And he reestablished himself, Maria, with flying colors. This guy is a curly Neal Harlem Globetrotter playing in the NBA. An infectious personality, unlimited range. He's going to shatter, along with Klay Thompson, for that matter, so many three-point records in the history of the NBA.
And he's basically the key for the Warriors right now. We know that if Steph scores 28 points, the Warriors are 8-3. So that seems to be a little bit of a magic number for Steph. And you saw him in warm-ups. He's already hitting shots from the logo, so we know he's going to show it to us tonight against the Mavericks. Again, guys, stay right there because we got plenty more coming as we get you set for the Warriors taking on the Mavs. Luka Doncic right now, he's leading the league in triple-doubles, but obviously needs to have a big game tonight. Meanwhile, Draymond Green, he's a leader for the Warriors, and their offense is still
warmed up, getting ready to play the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly. He will be lonely tonight.
What's that song? I'm on my own.
Yes, exactly. I mean, he's used to that, but
own.
he was hoping not to go back to that. Kyrie Irving out. Kevin Durant also is now undergoing a 7-day quarantine. We got to get you caught up on that situation. It's been evolving over the last 24 hours. He was a late scratch for the Brooklyn Nets game against Toronto last night. Then he was cleared to play. Then they told him after playing for 19 minutes, you are no longer allowed to play. He went to the locker room. He tweeted, "Free me." It was very confusing. Social media was blowing up. There was multiple reports that were conflicting, and we were all trying to figure out what was going on. So that led to the NBA to issue a statement that said, under the league's health and safety protocols, we don't require a player to quarantine until a close contact has confirmed positive test. During the game, a positive result was returned for the person Durant interacted with this afternoon. Once that was positive, we took him out of the game because of contact tracing. Now, he was with a team employee 3 times earlier that afternoon, the one that tested positive. So that's going to require now, according to Shams, a 7-day quarantine. So that means he will rejoin the team on Friday, 7 days after last night, and he will miss 3 total games. This is just adding on to the layers of frustration for a Brooklyn Nets team who is trying to develop some chemistry, but has not been able to so far. Let's hear from their head coach and what he's making of all of this.
Yeah, I think we found out recently that he can rejoin the team Friday. So I'm assuming that's the 7-day, contact tracing protocol, and we'll see him Friday, and I'll be really excited to have him back.
Gotcha. And with the Kyrie right index finger sprain, just how severe is that? Something that's a day-to-day situation? How long could he be out?
I think to be determined, but I think it very well could be a day-to-day. I think we're thinking of it day-to-day right now, but you never know. It's we'll see how it responds, but hopefully it is day-to-day, and we'll see him back in action on Tuesday.
Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Steve, can you just walk us through, you recently found out with Kevin, can you just walk us through what it was kind of like, how that information came to be, what your contact's been with him, and what you've heard from the league there?
Basically, I just got a text, in the last 30 minutes saying that was the conclusion. So I've texted with Kevin last night, but haven't spoken to him today. And that's all I can give you. Is, I just heard, and we'll see him on Friday.
And that's the health and safety protocols say 7 negative tests, right? It's 7, something like that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but everyone's been negative. Kevin's been negative. Everyone in our group's negative. So hopefully that continues, and he just has to go through the contact tracing 7 days, and we'll welcome him back on Friday.
So Brooklyn, like we said, hasn't had a lot of chemistry, haven't played a lot of games, certainly haven't had a lot of practices together with the new Big Three, yet they still are in the top 4 teams in the league in best records against teams that are 500 or better, including the 76ers, who they're playing tonight. So they're playing really well against quality opponents. I guess when you have those 3, you don't need all 3 to be talented,
yes,
right, Coach? Do you?
Yeah.
To win a championship, yes, but not.
Yeah, you're going to need them, and to win enough games. Look, their record is exceptional against teams above 500. Where they have struggled, think about it, they have 2 losses to Cleveland.
Right.
Not to bag on Cleveland, but Cleveland is not a championship caliber team.
You're just sucking up because you know I'm from there.
There you go, Alex. That's right. But this team is these 3 games without Durant and possibly a couple of games without Kyrie Irving is crucial because they're trying to find something. They're trying to get their offense in sync. They're trying to figure out where everyone likes the ball, their spacing, their timing. And then defensively, they are awful defensively. But if you constantly play together, you can get better. So right now, Steve Nash is trying to form a basketball team as they're playing games, limited practice time. So everybody's got to try to get on the same page doing games. And Alec, that's hard to do. So it's just another hurdle for this Brooklyn team. And doesn't it always work this way? The teams with the most at stake are the teams that seem to have a lot of distractions going on.
What did you say earlier in the night? The team that wins the championship might be the team that handles COVID-19 the best and is most professional and most patient and smartest about the decisions they make off the court. You're right, it's going to hurt them most defensively, though, the lack of chemistry, because when you look at offensively, Kyrie Irving, some of the best handles we've ever seen. James Harden came to the Brooklyn Nets because he desperately wanted to win a championship and demanded the trade. So he's willing to play any role. He doesn't need to be the leading scorer. And Kevin Durant, who can pick his spot and score anywhere on the court he wants to score. As we look at James Harden with Houston and then the rest of the season in Brooklyn, less points, far more assists. When you have those guys to pass to, it makes getting assists a lot easier.
Yeah, Allen, when I look at this, the most important thing is the usage rate. Look how that's down. And that's the thing. James Harden is always, the deeper they go into the playoffs, he's kind of run out of gas a little bit in Houston because he's had to do so much. Hopefully, by his usage rate being down, playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, come playoff time, he have enough left in the tank. But we know Harden is capable of carrying this team. The question is, he doesn't want to get in that mode again because as soon as he gets in that mode, here come Kyrie and KD, and you have to readjust. So if I was James Harden, this is not about winning this game tonight. It's about continuing to grow and play the way you need to play so when those other 2 guys come back, y'all can start trying to gel a little bit more.
Meanwhile, the Rockets won 7 of 8, and in their last 12 games since Harden was traded, they've held opponents to 105 points per game on 43% shooting. So they're a brand new team now. I mean, everything about them is completely different, and James Harden makes everything about this Nets team different. If they're all healthy, do they have enough time together, do you think, to win a championship this season?
It's going to be tough, Alex.